Right, check this out. What a beautiful morning. So it's stupid o'clock. It's about 5:30 in the morning. And I'm going to be doing my willow crab pots, putting them down off the shore. So, yeah, no idea. Never done a pot off the shore before. I've done plenty in the boats, but the most sensible place for me to come, all you Guernsey people will recognise, is the Wells, which is a place where we people are known to catch large quantities of spider crabs just in bicycle wheels sometimes. So yeah, it's worth giving it a go. So it's going to be a bit of an effort. So yeah, it means hauling up. You can see I've got a load of stuff that I need to take down. I've basically haven't put the weights in the pots yet, because I don't really want to carry the pots on my back with those weights in them. So I'm going to make several trips. It's going to be a right effort. So you can see here I've got I've got the bait, and I've got some stuff I've got some climbing gear. Basically what I've got is I've got a hammer, piton hammer, and a bag full of pitons which I borrowed from a mate of mine, and I'm going to use those to secure them into the rocks. And then I've got a load of lead weights and some cable ties to secure them in the pots. And yeah, so it's pretty heavy, these buckets. So let's hope that we actually get something. But it's been waiting for these easterly winds to disappear. They've been around for about a month, the northeasterlies, and here that means the wind would be coming from sort of this direction. It would have been likely to bash my pots up. So yeah, it's a beautiful morning, and yeah, let's get going. Let's get cracking. Oh, that is one heavy bucket of lead, I tell you. Right, I just thought I'd show you the rocks that I put the pots off of. You can see this is the main rock. It's actually quite steep on that side of the rock, and you can see here this area here is where I had to clamber down to put the pots in, and you can see that the water is relatively deep. I've taken these shots at high water, but you get the gist. These rocks here, where all the kids jump off of, they're mad. And you can see this is where the trek I had to do. This is obviously high tide. This is the trek, and where the arrow is there, that's where the car park is. So yeah, it's a long journey with all the leads and the pots. So yeah, it's a bit of an effort taking those pots down. That was hard work. I thought I'd take both pots. To be honest with you, they're quite light without the lead in. So yeah, there they are, ready to go. Now this is the place. So this is the place called the Wells. I think it's called the Wells because there's some actual sort of deep wells, basically, just natural formations, I think, where yeah, it goes a lot deeper just in a circular area. But anyway, this is a place where people tend to come down and use their bicycle wheels to get spider crabs. Now, so my task now, I've got to get the pots down to the next ledge, and then I've got to find some way of securing them to the rock. So I've got to find a crack that's the right size in order to secure the piton onto. So, and I want to try and get it into a sort of an area where it's not going to be noticed so much. It's going to be quite difficult down here, especially because I've got green rope. But anyway, let's give it a go. So I'll just show you what I've done with the rope. So I've made a bridle here for the pot. Now I've secured it on the bottom. Now I was kind of thinking it would have probably been better to secure one on the top and one on the bottom, but I'm not sure if the willow on the top is sturdy enough, so I've secured it on the bottom. It should be okay. So I've done a clove hitch and then just passed the rope back through, and then I've got this pot spinner that's attached to it. These are normally used off the boat, and basically what it means is the pot can spin if it, you know, and it stops that everything gets from twisting up. So and that's it really. So it's leaded rope. I've got leaded rope so that it doesn't float all over the place and be a nuisance to anybody else. So all I need to do now is put the leads in, and what I'm going to do, I've got some, let me just get them. Okay, so what I've got here, these are sort of like window sash weights that were used for the old-fashioned windows. You don't really get them like this anymore, and they just help the windows go up and down. It's like a and so these are pretty heavy, these lead weights. I've got one that's made of steel as well, I think, and then I've even got a bit of lead piping, so that I've cut up into bits. So it should be heavy enough, but I don't know. I mean, the weather's not too bad at the moment, so it should be all right. But if I'm not gonna leave the pots down here if the weather picks up. So anyway, I'm going to secure the weights, 2 in each pot, secure them in, and cable tie them to the willow at the bottom, and then we're pretty much good to go. What I have got here is the wires, so I've got wires to secure the bait on. I'll show you that in a second. Right, what I've got here, so I've got some stinky long nose garfish, and I put it onto wires, and what I'm going to do is secure that to the inside of the pot. Now, let me just show you if I can do it to see. So it's a really stinky bait. Long nose are a pretty oily fish, so yeah, basically this is how you always used to bait up crab pots before the modern day pots. Just use some sort of wire like this, bring it through like this, and then secure on the outside like that. So I'll just wrap the wire around, and you can see that the fish is on the inside here. The only way that the crab can get to it is by climbing inside the pot. So, and now, the one problem I might have is that these pots have been out of the water for a long time, and so they've dried out, which means that the bindings are a little bit loose. I don't know if you can see, but in theory, once they're in the water, they'll swell up and they'll be more secure. But hey, look, I've never done this before with actually used them, so it'll be interesting to see. But I'm not that hopeful. All I want really is a couple of keeper spider crabs. Really, that'll be lovely. So. Right, there. The idea is, what you want to try and do is find. I didn't want to put any cement on the rocks or anything like that. To, I want to leave it as I found it. So these pitons are used for climbing. So and the idea is to find a gap in the rocks that's small enough that you can hammer it in. It's easier if it's side on like this, so the rope's going down against the crack. But see, this will wiggle out, but to be honest with you, there's not that much wind at the moment or much tide, so it's not going to get much against it. I might leave it like that. Right, now it's a matter of getting enough distance on it. Now that I've got the lead weights in it, it's actually quite heavy. So I've tied it on. Right, sorry about that. My battery ran out when I was down there and I forgot to take replacements. So anyway, I've got 2 pots out there. It's only going to be for a day. I'm not sure if I can be bothered to put 2 more down there. First of all, I'm going to see if there's any crabs there first before I'll bother with that. So yeah, I'll probably either pop back tonight or first thing tomorrow morning and check them and rebait them if necessary. But I don't know, I saw some kids that were diving around the corner, and they seem to think there's only small ones about. So yeah, well, we'll see. Well, if you leave them soak overnight, you never know what you're going to get. So yeah, see you when I pick them up. Right, it's just the evening, so they've just had the day to soak, and to be honest with you, if some kids haven't pulled the pots up, I'll be lucky. But I'm going to go and give it a go and rebait them if I need to, but I shouldn't imagine I'll need to. So yeah, let's see what I get. Got some crab. There we go, got some crab. You'll probably find they are big enough. They look like females. No big males or anything. Let's have a look. Right. So, yeah, this is actually, believe it or not, this one's big enough. It's you can see it is a female. Put that one back. So I've got, and again, looks like they're all females. Oh no, this one's a male. Not a particularly big one. Let's have a look. I mean, it's just about big enough. Let me just move that up a bit for you. Yeah, so this one's the only male I think in the pot. Well, no, that one's a male as well, but it's a tiny one. And if you measure it from there to there, it is actually sizable. I don't think I'm going to take it though. Let's just have a look. I think this female is perfectly big enough. Yeah, that female's perfectly big enough. Hang on, I have to work out if I want to take him or not. And then there's this little male, he can go. Right. Okay, so I've got a male and a female big enough, but I'm not sure if I'm going to bother. I'm going to see what's in the next pot. Anyway, right. See if I can get this back out there. Yes, there's more spiders, but again, only small ones by looking at. Oh, how annoying. And again, they've munched through all that bait. A little male, tiny little male. Another little male. Little female. This one's the biggest one out of the lot in this pot. Let go. That's. I'll have to have a look at that one compared to this one. They're not massive, that's for sure, but probably big enough to take. Let's just have a look. Yeah, I mean this is well big enough to take. Let's have a look. take the biggest male and the biggest female, because that male isn't probably quite big enough. I mean, it is big enough to take, but not worthwhile. Right, so it's the first morning, so this is the first time they've had an overnight soak. I'm here with my son Harvey. Say hi, Harv.
Right.
And yeah, we're going to check them. I'm not too hopeful because last night when I filled the pots back up, I wasn't expecting all the bait to be gone, so I only bought one long nose, so there's not much bait there. But I don't know, you never know. I'm sure there'll be a few crabs in there. So I've brought a load of bait with me this morning, so we're going to properly load them up for today. And yeah, let's see how we get on. Oh, it's come up upside down. Oh, that's happened. Yeah, there is a spider crab. There's a couple of spider crabs in it, but come up upside down, so it's very tricky to. Yeah, as I thought, not the best. They're all just small ones. So yeah, here we go. So I mean, the pot definitely does work, but there's only small ones down here at the moment. See, I mean, this is the biggest one, and hang on. Yeah, I mean, it's probably just in size, but it's not worth taking. Especially, I mean, I took those two small ones yesterday. I'll probably just throw that straight into my other pot. There we go. Well, you can see my other pot down there. Now it's low tide. Okay. Right, let's get this baited up properly and get this back in the water.
Yeah.
Right. Seems to be better down here. Both times I've had bigger crabs. Actually, I mean, they're all females again, but this one is pretty decent size female. Makes you think. Let me get the back. There we go. So it's not a bad sized spider crab, really. But again, it's a female. Yeah. So if you look here, this is the size it's supposed to be. So from between the eyes, and then you can see here, look, it's well in size, this crab. So the problem is with the females, obviously, they haven't got the big legs, but there's still quite a lot of meat in the body. So I might take that one, actually, just one. Yeah, cool. Interesting. See, now shows you a problem with the pot, because look, he managed to crawl through that gap. So somehow there's been a big gap come up in the bottom of the pot. So, and I see if I'm gonna have to try and address that. I don't know, that's happened on the way up, otherwise damaged the pot on the way up or something, but that's not good. Right. Right. Let's just put a few in place just to secure it. Okay, if I cut off the ends, make sure I take the plastic home with me. Okay. Right, I just thought I'd show you. I've just picked a couple of crabs, and you know, they weren't particularly big crabs anyway, so there was only a couple of small crabs. In fact, one was a female, But it just goes to show. I mean, check out this. This is the bowl of crab meat. It's almost a pound of crab meat that I've got out of those crabs. So it's a bit of, when being smaller, they're a bit fiddly, but actually it's worthwhile doing. So yeah, it's definitely been worthwhile. A lot of effort, but worthwhile so far. Right, so it's the second evening. So they've just been out during the day, and but I did load them up with bait. So providing no one's pulled them, hopefully I'll have a few crabs in there. Got some decent bait for tonight. Some sort of more long-lasting bait, so hopefully it'll last the whole night. Because I think what happened last night was the crabs ate all the long nose before it even got dark. So the chance of me catching anything else was pretty remote. So anyway, let's give it a go. See if there's anything there. Oh, my head's still there. There is a spider. It's all right, actually. There's a male there. That's not that big, is it? It's big enough, that's for sure. See, I think actually that bass head has lasted quite well. There we go. It's always the little ones that are aggro. That's way too small, that one. But this one, that one's big enough for sure. Only got one claw. Yeah, but that's well big enough, that one. Oh well, he's coming home. Even though he's only got one claw, the claw's quite nice. Not too bad. Right, so it's got a bass head in already. I think what I'll do is I'll just swap the bait on this side. This is where the long nose was.
I'd include that bait.
Say again?
I'd include that and just add more.
Yes. Yeah. At least if I do get the rope wrapped around myself, you're filming it, so it'll be quite funny.
Harry Hill, 250 quid.
Yeah. Right. So I've got 5 in there, and one of them's fairly decent, I think. One of them's big enough, that's for sure. In fact, 2 of them are big enough. Good. How did I do with the knife? So there we have it, my best haul so far. I'm really pleased with that. So there's 3 decent sized males and a female. You can tell the female because of the apron, and you can see the little diddy claws for a female. But yeah, no, it's pretty good. I wonder what we're going to get overnight with a decent amount of bait. So I'm going to pop back in the morning. So Rich is going to have a couple of these, and then I'm going to give another couple away because I'm fed up of picking spider crab already. Just to show you the difference between the males and the females, you can see actually when you look at the body size, they're pretty similar, but you get a lot more meat on the males because of the size of the claws. So you can see here you've got for the females you've got a wide apron, whereas here you can see it's long and narrow. Yeah. See what we got today. coming up upside down again. Oh. Alright, what have we got? Alright, it's just spider crabs again. I kind of hoping for a lobster or something, but I mean, it is wishful thinking. Really? There is nothing exciting in there. It's all small spiders. I mean, a couple of them, like this one, would be big enough. That's a female. I think they can all go back. Oh, there's a bigger spider in there now. Right, okay. It's actually quite full, this one. Jeepers. And the bait's doing alright. Right, I've got a fairly decent male in there. This one here, actually, is a decent male. I'm wondering, you know, whether... Hey, that is a nice one. I'm wondering whether the neck size needs to be slightly bigger. Because maybe if there's any really big ones, they wouldn't even be able to get in. Because I'm struggling to get them out. Okay, and all the rest are pretty small. There's a big enough female. This female's big enough, but I can't be bothered. I'll take that male. Right, hello peeps. So this is the last day. Although you can see how glorious it is, I think we're coming to the end of the spider crab season anyway, and I'm running out of bait. So, and you know, I keep on having to come backwards and forwards down here, which is a lot of effort. It's giving me some exercise anyway. So yeah, I'm going to pull these up and take them back and clear up my mess from what I've left down here. So let's see how I do on my last trip. You never know, I might get something good. Oh, not much in there, that's for sure. Jeepers. Really is coming to the end of the spider crab season. I've got 3 small spiders. Right. This was probably big enough actually, but only just. Yeah, it is probably big enough, you know. But anyway, I'm only going to take them if they're really worth it now. Well, it's got more in it, that's for sure. Nothing particularly great though, from what I can see. Yeah, there's one that's probably worth taking. So one male. There do seem to be males now, but smaller ones. 2. There's a small male. 3. This one is a small female. 4. Another male. No, this is a female. 5. Yeah, that male's definitely big enough. Hang on. 6, that's another female. And this male's probably worth taking. I'll double check him when I get back up. Let me just get the bait out, because I end up... It's a shame really, I should leave them down for one more day because there's plenty of bait in them, but to be honest with you, I've had enough of it now. But yeah, this one's definitely big enough. It's not the biggest male in the world, but it's certainly decent size. Right. So you can see with this pot, it's really squished now. Still works fine. It works better than the other one. This pot, when I made it, was a bit of a wonky shape anyway. It just makes me think that the rounder it is, the stronger the structure. But there you go. Right, let's do the painstaking taking the pots back up. I'll put them down here, look. and measure him from there. Look, it's well in. It's not huge by any means, but that'll mean that altogether I've had 9, which is all right for a couple of days. Right. Alright, let me just show you what I'm doing here, because obviously I don't want to leave anything behind. Now this piton here should be relatively easy to get out because it's quite a big crack, so let me just undo the rope. Okay, so there's a couple of ways to do it. Normally what you can do is you can go from side to side. There we are. You just wiggle it. There we go. So you can see it's gone a bit rusty there. Sorry, Mark, who I borrowed this off. But yeah, worked really well. Right, for this one, it might be a bit trickier because, let me show you, it's not in such a deep crack. So you can see here, actually, would you see where all this looks like where there was originally a mooring there? This looks like the it's all rusted up. So, but yeah, so it might be a bit more tricky to go. Hang on, not sure if you're getting this. Let me get closer. Just don't want to get my feet wet. So it's a bit more tricky to actually get there. So, in theory, if you pass the wire through, like so, and then if I use this to secure it on, Mark will probably be watching this going, what is he doing? Right, so that should now, in theory, and if I do that, there we go, and it comes out, so leaving no mess behind. Right, I've taken the bucket of lead back to the car and the crab, so all I've got left are these crab pots. Now, since they've been in the water, obviously they've soaked up the water, so they're going to be a lot heavier, and the rope's going to be soaked, so they're going to be heavy. So strictly speaking, what I should do is take them one by one back to the car, but as I'm a man and I'm stupid, I'm going to take both of them, and it won't be tiring at all. Right, so what have I learned from my experience? Well, doing pots off the shore is a lot of effort, that's for sure. But you know, my pots work, that's for sure. I mean, I managed to catch some crab, and yeah, so I had 9 crab in, 9 crab in sort of 3.5 days. So that's not bad at all, really. Yeah, probably the necks of the pots aren't big enough. If you see here, this crab here is the one I caught this morning, and if you ever look at the neck, I mean, it fits through okay, but you can imagine if you've got a big crab, then it's unlikely that it would go inside. I mean, I've done potting before where the crabs have been actually on the outside because they couldn't get in. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some larger neck pots and see how they get on. I'm also going to make some smaller neck pots as well and do them for lobster. There was always an outside hope of catching a lobster this time round, but to be honest with you, where I was putting them down, it wasn't the best place for lobster. But what I also realised was the bindings, as they swell up, get tighter. So it's actually, yeah, it's a lot more secure than it was when I put them down. So yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. It was you know, it's good. It helped that it was nice weather as well. But if you got to the end of this video, then hopefully it means you enjoyed some of the content. So think about subscribing to my channel, and please click on that like button.